If you own a bump side Ford, there's a good chance one or both of your fenders looks like this. And if you want it to look like this, stick around. I'll show you how I made this patch with some simple hand tools and just my Miller MIG welder. Keep in mind, I'm no body man, so if I can pull this off, you can too. Yeah, looks like the middle of July to me. I think we'll stay inside today. Welcome back to the shop. So I had a little package arrive here. If it is what I think it is, we can finally get going on the 68 F-100 again. So this is indeed our bushing and bolt kit for the core support. So we can finally go ahead and get that swapped out and piece the front clip back together. I got these parts from Hot Rods and Classics, so shout out to them. First time doing business with them. I actually hadn't heard of them. They've been around for quite a while, since mid-90s, I believe. Great to do business with. Had these parts here quick, and I think I found my new part supplier. These guys are way easier to deal with. So yeah, complete set. I got the bushings, washers, bolts, and the sleeves. So I'll go ahead and cut the old ones off. And then these come with 2 of the extra large washers for 70 to 72 trucks, which mine is not, so we won't need those. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and get this driver's side fender finished up here. Those of you who've been with the channel for a while remember we already patched up the passenger side. It wasn't as bad, but on the driver's side here, this inner structure was rotted out. Not worth trying to patch this section, so I just cut this out, and then I went ahead and fabbed up a new piece. So it fits pretty well in there. Doesn't really have to be pretty. This is never going to be seen unless you're really up inside there. So I did this, I did 6 pieces. So I got the one main piece here bent up, one piece on top, these 2 sides, and then just welded in the 2 flanges. I did a quick grind on the back there, but again, never going to be seen. I'll hit that with some primer, and we'll go ahead and weld this in here. I'll have to do some final little tweaks here to get everything lined up, and then just drill my hole for the bolt in the fender, and a couple spot welds, which we'll just plug weld that through here, and we should be good to go. And this is one of those things, I wanted to salvage the original fenders on this truck. We are keeping the patina look for now because I'm poor and can't afford paint. This way, at least we can maintain as much of the original paint as possible. When you can't buy pieces like this, you don't have an option but to make them up. And this really wasn't all that complicated. What I like to do is take a Sharpie, and you can kind of follow the valleys and your edges, and it gives you a good idea. Make up some paper templates if you need to, and lay it out on some sheet metal, cut it out, and weld it together. If you've got a half-decent MIG welder, you can fab this kind of stuff up. So I'll go ahead, get that inner structure just tacked in for now, just so we can kind of hold our shape and make sure we get our outer patch in the right spot. And I'm going to do the same as I did on the passenger. Passenger was quite a bit smaller. This one's a little more extensive, so we're going to cut back to here. And I've just started prepping a piece of 18 gauge with our rough shape. And we will bend it down there, get it all fit in, tack that in. And then same idea as the inner structure. We'll just weld this flange on and cut it to shape. Okay, so we got the inner structure tacked in there. Just a few spots on the back side there. There we go. Now we can make this patch here. All right, so I got my patch all bent up there, fitting pretty good. And we'll go ahead and tack this in. I do have to weld the flange on first. So what I did is I cut a piece of sheet metal, and then I clamped it to the original and used that as a guide to kind of grind my radiuses on there and make sure I get it as close as possible, because we want this to match up with the door that it butts up to. So I'll make sure we get that perfect, and then I'll go ahead and I'll weld it onto this piece here. So I got our factory holes replicated, including the hole for our mount. And then we'll go ahead and finish weld this, prime the inside of this. We'll shoot some weld through primer in here, and then we can get this tacked in and welded up. And to bend this piece up, I used mostly the pipe anvil that we built in a previous video. It worked pretty well for getting these bends in there. We also used some pipe clamped in the vise here, as well as the edge of the bench, and just bending by hand as well to get some of those curves. All right, so there we go. Got the flange tacked in on that side. Good penetration, so we'll just weld it from the outside, and then we'll end up having to grind the inside. As you can see here, our alignment mark's slightly off, and that's just the penetration of the weld sticking out on the back. So we'll take the die grinder on the inside and clean that up, and everything should fit up nice. Good to go. So I'm going to keep plugging away at this whenever the weather's kind of crappy, and you'll probably see this finished up in a future video. I'm not going to finish this up here today. I've got other things to do, and I want to get the truck moved over to the shop here so we can get that core support pulled off. So that's going to be the priority. We're close enough on this that by the time we get the core support and inner fenders and everything back together, should have this pretty well wrapped up. And as I said before, I'm no body man, but I think that's a pretty big improvement from what we had. They do sell this patch panel. I looked into it. It's like 120 bucks US, so by the time I get it here, it would be pretty pricey. I've got a fair bit of time into this, but it's just kind of one of those, whenever it's too dark or too wet to be outside, I just plug away at it and do a little bit at a time. Also had a few more bits show up. I got some new hood hinges from Rock Auto, so I won't have to smash my head on the hood latch anymore. And also our drag link showed up. So I've got almost all the pieces to do the front end rebuild, just waiting on the kingpins and one more bushing, but that should all be on the way. Still got to get a 20-ton presser for the shop. We're looking for a used one, not having much luck. New ones are crazy expensive right now. So I'll keep on the hunt for that, and as soon as I get a press, then we'll jump on this project here. So I think I'm gonna go swap out some valve cover gaskets. The rubber ones we had are leaking already, so I'm gonna throw these cork ones on and see how that goes. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.